I baked cupcakes for our baby shower. When the caseworker asked, "Do you have room for a 5-year-old too?" I set the frosting down and said, "Everyone, meet my husband's other child. He learned about him years ago and didn't tell me." I'm 29F, he's 31M. We live in Columbus, Ohio, off Parsons near Schiller Park, in a little brick duplex with a 2 big dog and a baby on the way. We were college sweethearts. He's Ethan, works for a roofing supplier, drives a company F-150 with shingles dusting the floorboard. I'm Lori, nurse on the med-surg floor at OSU 312s, a rotating holiday schedule, pockets full of alcohol wipes I keep forgetting to take out before I do laundry. We weren't trying for long. It took 4 months. A faint pink line one morning in April, my hands shaking so much I almost dropped the test. Ethan hugged me and made those nervous, laughing noises like a guy who can both bench his own weight and cry at dog commercials. I asked him to stop calling our baby Little Roof. He didn't. We told our parents at 11 weeks with a stupid little onesie that said, "Received by fall 2025. His mom cried and immediately asked about names. My mom said, "Let's eat first." That has always been her order. By 20 weeks, we picked a date for the shower. My sister Katie is a Pinterest pterodactyl and thrives on themes. She chose apples because it's fall and we met picking them at Lind Fruit Farm junior year. He dropped a bushel. I made fun of him. Romance. She ordered a cake with piped apples and a banner that said, "Welcome, little Pip." My feet hurt. My belly seemed to pop overnight. Ethan kissed it like he could introduce himself through skin. Small Ohio sentence. We grabbed Buckeye Donuts from Buckeye Donuts on high after our anatomy scan. He got sprinkles, I got maple. The tech said, "Healthy baby." Everything was normal until it wasn't. 2 weeks before the shower, I was home meal, prepping like a responsible adult who will never be this responsible again after the baby. Ethan was at work. My phone rang with a number I didn't recognize, 614 area code, but half of Columbus is 614. "Hi, is this Lori? Last name?" a woman asked, voice professional but soft. "This is Angela with Franklin County Children's Services. I'm trying to reach Ethan, last name, but I couldn't get through to his work line, and your number is listed on his case as a secondary contact." My hand went light. His case? "Yes, ma'am," she said, the way people in Ohio say ma'am when they're about to put a refrigerator on your chest. "We have him listed as the putative father for a 5-year-old named Micah. We have a family team meeting scheduled Wednesday to discuss placement options." I didn't say anything for 5 seconds because math is not my best skill when it comes to grief. "I think you have the wrong—" "We have his date of birth and social," she said. "I can't share those with you unless he consents, but we do need to make him aware. We'll try the number we have again." "I'll give him the message," I heard myself say like I was the receptionist for this version of my life. I hung up and stared at the rice I'd just measured. My dog, Moose, came in and leaned his warm big weight into my leg like he always does when he thinks gravity is optional. My hands were shaking. I didn't call Ethan immediately because I'm not a person who likes to lose in public. Yes, I consider phone arguments public. I put everything down and went to the bedroom and dug the one shoebox out from under the bed that holds our important junk: passports, socials, old lease, the little envelope with the ultrasound photo. No secret babies inside, just the same paperwork we've used to build a life. He got home at 5:15, dust of somebody's gutters on his shoulders, smiling in the doorway like nothing in the world had changed. "Hey," he started. "Who is Micah?" I asked. Calm. Calm in the way calm feels when your head is a bell. His mouth opened and then closed, like he swallowed a piece of ice wrong. He sat on the coffee table because he does that when he's nervous. We don't have a sturdy coffee table. I've told him it'll break. I thought how funny it would be if it broke now. "I was going to tell you," he said, which I have learned is a sentence people save for the day raw chicken is already on the floor. "Tell me now," I said. He rubbed his face with both hands, a move I've only seen when the Buckeyes lose to Michigan. There was a girl, he said, before you. Senior spring, we hooked up a few times. She told me a month later she was pregnant. I thought she was... He stopped, winced. I didn't believe her. We weren't the thing. She didn't want anything, just money sometimes. I sent money for a while and then it stopped. I didn't... You have a 5-year-old, I said, and you didn't tell me. His eyes filled fast. He shook his head. I don't know if he's mine. She never pushed it. She moved south. Child support notices came and went, then they stopped. I thought she found someone. And then last year, he swallowed. She left a voicemail. Said she couldn't do it alone anymore, that I needed to step up. I saved the voicemail. I've listened to it 10 times. I called back. The number was dead. Nothing else came. I hoped. He wiped his eyes. I'm sorry. Last year, I repeated, because the way your mouth fits around a year changes everything. I didn't want to lose you, he said. You had just started applying to nursing jobs. We were talking about buying this place. I didn't know what it meant. I felt like I was standing on a trap door. Children's Services called, I said. There's a meeting Wednesday about placement. That doesn't sound like the kind of meeting people have when everything is fine. He looked like he'd been hit by a 2x4. Placement? He echoed, as if repeating it could make it other. He looked at his phone like answers live in rectangles. What's her name? Danielle, he said. From Cincinnati. We met at a party in the short north. I was an idiot. I was 26 and thought life was a buffet. We were not boyfriend-girlfriend. I don't know her last name. It was... He made a face. It was messy. You had a secret, I said, my voice steadier than my hands, and you let me marry you with it. You let me get pregnant with it. He flinched. He stood up too fast and then sat back down like his blood had changed. I'll go to the meeting, he said. I'll do whatever I have to. I'm sorry. I will say sorry until you tell me to stop. Good. Say it until you're hoarse, I thought. But also, there was a little boy with a name. There was a caseworker who called me ma'am like I was now part of this web. There was an unborn baby inside me, rolling like she knew everything before I did. Angela called back the next day, this time reaching Ethan. He put it on speaker at my insistence while we stood in the kitchen with Moose on our toes. Thank you for getting in touch, she said to him. Micah is currently with his maternal aunt Tasha on a temporary safety plan. His mother, Danielle, is in treatment. We'll need to do a DNA test to confirm paternity. Our goal, as always, is safe reunification with a parent or relative. We need you at Wednesday's meeting. What time? He asked. Noon, she said. Southeast office on Alum Creek. Bring a photo ID and prepare for this to be emotional. You're meeting your son's family. The words hit me in the chest in a way that felt both right and wrong. Son, Ethan's maybe. Not mine. And yet if I stayed, if we stayed, if the math came out a certain way, that word would be in my house. We told nobody. You don't send that as a text. You don't drop it like an avocado in a paper bag and hope it softens. You sit with it until you can open your mouth without spitting out knives. We sat with it for 24 hours. Then we argued for 3. I told him he was a liar. He said he was a coward. We both were right. He told me he didn't tell me because he wanted to be allowed to be a good man before I found out he might have failed at being one. I told him he didn't get to decide I couldn't handle the truth for him. Thursday came anyway. We went to the meeting. The building was the same tired beige you could smell from your car. Posters about every family is a family. A secretary with acrylic nails and a big smile that didn't reach her eyes anymore. Angela found us with a file and a deep breath. We walked into a room with borrowed coffee and folding chairs. Two women at the table, one my age, one older, looked up. The older one stood. "I'm Tasha," she said, shaking Ethan's hand first with a long grip that said both hello and I will end you, depending on how you behave. "This is my ma, Lorraine." The younger woman, she had the same mouth as Ethan. I know that sounds dramatic, but sometimes DNA is petty like that, leaves breadcrumbs for even idiots to find. "Where's Micah?" I asked. "At school," Angela said. "We don't usually bring kids to the first meeting. It can be overwhelming." She gestured to the chairs. "Let's sit." It's surreal to have your life laid out in bullet points by a stranger. Danielle's struggle, Tasha stepping in when daycare called 3 times in a week for late pickup. Micah's love for dinosaurs and applesauce. He gets nosebleeds when he's stressed. He thrives with routine. "Do you think he's mine?" Ethan asked Tasha, voice small. Tasha looked at him long enough to make him squirm. "I think Danielle said you were," she said. "I think I don't have room for liars in my life, and I don't know if you are one yet. I do know my nephew needs people who won't leave." She looked at me. "You must be Lori." I nodded. I didn't know either. Not until Angela called. She softened a fraction. "That's a lot," she said, the way women say that's a lot when they know half of the story you're sitting on. We swapped Ethan's cheek for the test. Tasha gave Angela a stack of drawings Micah had done at her kitchen table. Volcanoes and stick people and "Be a truck" with a smile. Angela slid us a copy. I held a paper volcano in my lap like it had a pulse. Small Ohio sentence. We drove home up Alum Creek, stopped at Schmidt's Sausage House, and I ate a cream puff without tasting it. I wasn't going to tell anyone until the test came back. That was the plan I made in my head while I counted ceiling tiles at 3 a.m. Plans don't care. 2 days before the shower, my phone lit up. Angela F. My breath went weird. She didn't make me wait. "Results came back," she said. "Ethan is the biological father." I sat down on the floor in our hall, which was oddly clean because my sister had been over-nesting my house like a robin. "Okay," I said, "because we both know nobody is okay." "What does this mean?" Ethan asked. "It means we want to talk about next steps," Angela said. "We don't remove Micah from Tasha unless we have to. He's safe. Danielle is still in treatment. Ethan, you've never been in his life, so you're functionally a stranger. We'd like to start supervised visits. We'd like to see if you'll show up. We'd like to see if you want to be a parent or if you want to write a check." She said it kindly. She also said it like she'd said it 1,000 times. "We want him to know his dad," Tasha said gently. "It's his baby shower Sunday," Ethan blurted, which is not. I put my hand on his arm so hard he winced. He closed his eyes. "I mean, our baby shower. We're having a girl. We haven't told people that yet." He swallowed. "We should tell our families." Angela nodded. "Not a bad idea. Secrets are slow poison. If it helps, I can come by to answer questions. People can say some unhelpful things when they're scared." I looked at Ethan. He looked at me. We were those people at the rafting place who didn't think they needed helmets until they saw the water. "Come," I said. "Please." Sunday, the house filled with women who talked with their hands and men who avoided the kitchen and a football game humming in the background. Apples everywhere. A banner with Little Pip hung a little crooked because Katie insisted on doing it herself, and she's 5'0" and hates stepladders. I arranged cupcakes with tiny paper apples while my mom told my aunt to sit down, and his mom cried looking at the onesies. Ethan stood quietly in the corner like a man who has stumbled into the wrong theater. Angela came in with a file and a warmed-up smile. I introduced her like she was the real entertainment. "Everyone," I said, tapping my glass, watching 100 eyes. "We have an update." I didn't make a speech. I don't do speeches. I do charts. But I did this. This is Angela, I said. She's a caseworker with Franklin County Children's Services. She's here because Ethan is the biological father of a 5-year-old named Micah. He found out for sure 2 days ago. He should have told me he might be a father a long time ago. He didn't. I learned through a phone call. I'm saying it now because I will not hold this alone. His mother said, "What?" In a pitch I've only heard when people realize their basement is flooding. My father sat up like he just heard a deer in the yard. Katie's face did math at a speed I didn't know she had. Someone whispered, "Another baby?" Like they'd discovered plot. "Please," Angela said, stepping forward, palms out. "I'm here to answer questions about process, not to referee anyone's pain. Micah is with his aunt. He is safe. Ethan has a chance to build a relationship with him if he chooses to do the work. Lori has a chance to decide what that looks like for her." His mom turned to her son with tears, and how could you? That wasn't mine to manage. My mom came to my side like she always does. Ethan looked at the floor. He said, "I'm sorry," to the room. It hung like humidity, useless and everywhere. After, people came up in little lines. Some hugged me. Some said, "If anyone can do this, you can," which is not helpful because it sounds like a dare. My grandmother said, "Babies are babies," which felt like a blessing. His mother went home early without taking a deviled egg for the first time in recorded history. After everyone left, the house looked like a party had exhaled and died. I sat on the floor with Moose and put my head on Ethan's knee because I didn't know what else to do. "I'll go to every visit," he said quietly. "I'll show up. I'll ask for help. I'll do whatever you want me to do." "I want you to tell the truth," I said. "To yourself, to me, to him. Every time. Even when it makes you look ugly. Especially then." He nodded hard. "I can do that," he said. "I will." We started. He went to supervised visits at a church basement in Linden where the toys are sticky and the coffee is brave. The first time he saw Micah, I stayed outside. I'm a nurse. I've watched families get born and get buried. I can handle joy and sorrow in our fluorescent glory. I couldn't handle this yet. He came out 90 minutes later with eyes that looked like he'd seen God and himself at the same time. "He loves dinosaurs," he said, voice wrecked. "He's 5. "Yeah," I said, because age is so dumb and so big all at once. I met Micah a month later. He had a dinosaur shirt and mismatched socks and a smile that made me feel like 100 bees had moved into my lungs and 100 doves too. "Auntie Lori?" he asked, looking at Tasha and then at me. Language is boundaries and bridges. I took the bridge. "Lori is good," I said softly. "I'm so happy to meet you." He showed me a toy triceratops that looked like it had seen war. I said, "Wow," like it was the moon. I was 30 weeks pregnant with a girl who kicked like a soccer player being born into a family that forgot to get their oxygen masks on before helping others. We did our best. Updates. Update 1, 2 weeks later. Visits are going. Supervised Wednesdays after school. Tasha is kind and keeps her eyes on Ethan like he's a raccoon and might steal something. She hugged me after the second visit. "You didn't ask for this," she said. "True. But you're here," she added. "Also true." Angela is a metronome of calm. She told Ethan he needs a paternity acknowledgement on file, a child support order which will adjust based on custody, and an actual plan. "Good intentions are dessert," she said. "Kids need dinner." His mother vacillates between, "We'll bring Micah into the family with open arms," and "She trapped you." I told her to stop saying trapped before I stop answering her calls. My mother brings lasagna. She does not bring opinions unless asked. Small Ohio sentence. Drove to the North Market on a Saturday, ate Jenny's ice cream at 11 a.m. because sugar is church now. Update 2, 1 month later, Micah did a thing only 5-year-olds can do. He looked at me using the bathroom at Tasha's because kids don't know about privacy and said, "Is my baby sister in there?" I laughed so hard I almost fell off the toilet. "Kind of," I said. He nodded, satisfied, and went to find a velociraptor. Ethan is showing up. He doesn't miss. He puts it on his work calendar like it's a delivery window. He started reading books about parenting that aren't written like demolition manuals. He wrote Danielle a letter through Tasha, apologized for being a ghost. Danielle wrote back from treatment, 3-line pages about shame and hope. I cried reading it in the car outside the grocery store. Ethically, I don't know where to put my anger for her while keeping my anger for him. Practically, I have to learn. People contain multitudes, and sometimes those multitudes have clipboards. I told my grandparents the gentle version. They nodded like they knew about secrets decades before we did. My grandpa said, "Boys," and then fried me an egg. Our daughter, we know, she's a girl, likes whenever Micah is around. She kicks a bunch. Science says she can't like anything yet. My body says otherwise. Small USA local sentence, stuck behind a coda bus in the rain, wipers squeaking, blue jackets, flag flapping on a porch. I felt very Columbus and very alive. Update 3, 2 months later, birth. It was a blur and also a movie I'll replay for the rest of my life. My water broke at 3 a.m. on a Thursday like the dramatic girl she is. Ethan drove us to OSU on empty roads. 18 hours later, I held a tiny person with my face and his eyelashes. We named her June Lorraine. Lorraine after Tasha's mom because I wanted to attach us to the right people. Micah met June a week later. He asked if he could touch her hair. He touched it like it was a new kind of grass. He brought her a sticker of a T-Rex. For her, he said. We stuck it on the diaper pail because nothing is sacred in babyland. I cried a lot. Not just the postpartum tears. The big, weird ones. Watching Ethan hold our daughter and knowing he has a son who doesn't yet know if his dad sticks. That's a sentence that shouldn't exist, and yet there we were. Tasha brought a casserole when she visited, reminded me to sleep, told me my hair looked great. It didn't, told me I was doing a good job. Jury's still out. She is the person you want at your table if you're allowed to choose. Angela closed our case to informal monitoring. She trusts Ethan's attendance now. Danielle is out of treatment in sober housing, doing outpatient therapy, has supervised visits with Tasha Present. I want to hug her and also ask her if she knew what moving to Columbus would do to my life. Both can be true. Update 4, 4 months later, exhaustion is its own drug. June wakes up like it's funny. Micah turned 6 and asked for a cake shaped like a volcano. I made one that looked like a deflated beanbag chair with frosting. He loved it anyway because kids are generous art critics. Ethan started taking Micah to the library on Saturdays. He learned how to lace little shoes. He learned you pack snacks. He learned 5-year-olds never have to pee unless you are 5 minutes from home. He also learned to tell the truth. Small things. We argue about bigger ones at night, soft enough not to wake June. You had a whole life you didn't tell me about. I say when I'm mean. I didn't know it was mine to claim, he says when he's honest. His mom has come around. She bought a booster seat for her car. She stopped calling Danielle names. She started sending Tasha recipes. My mom keeps being my mom. Quiet, competent, the first person who shows up, and the last to leave your kitchen cleaner than you left it. Small Ohio sentence. Took June to the Franklin Park Conservatory and cried in the palm room because plants, like people, can be propagated after you prune them. Update 5, 6 months later, honest talk, I moved into the guest room. Not because I don't love him, because my body won't unclench in the dark. We're in therapy twice a month. He goes once a week. We put a Google Calendar event on Wednesday nights that says talk, no TV. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we stare and hold hands and listen to the neighbor's wind chimes. He told me he was scared I would love Micah more because Micah is whole and June is needy, and that maybe our daughter would be harder. I said, that is not how love works. And then I understood something about the little boy inside my husband that I didn't want to. He's afraid of being in second place. He's been afraid his whole life. He made a giant, stupid choice to stay first in a race no one else was running. We wrote a safety plan. If Ethan ever lies again about anything big, I'm done. If he drinks and drives, I'm done. If he misses 3 visits in a row that aren't medically necessary, I'm done. He asked, what about me? Do I get a list for you? I said he could make one. He wrote, don't shut me out. I'm trying. Update 6, 9 months later. Danielle relapsed. Writing that makes my heart break in a way I didn't know I had left. She missed a visit. Tasha called me crying. She didn't ask me for anything, she just needed someone to say, yes, this is terrible, while she cut up grapes. Micah started kindergarten. He carried a backpack bigger than his torso. He looked back at Tasha twice and then went in. He likes his teacher. He says she smells like peaches. He cries at drop-off on Mondays and is fine by Tuesdays. Ethan cried on our porch after drop-off and said, I don't know how to do this. I told him, you keep getting up. You keep showing up. You don't drink your feelings. You don't run. He nodded like I had given him coordinates. June said, Dada, and then no the next day because she is an oldest daughter in spirit. She has 8 teeth and a personal grudge against peas. Small USA local sentence. We got dirty chai from Fox in the snow, and June flirted with a stranger by throwing her sock at him. The stranger laughed and put it back on her foot like a champ. Update 7. 1 year later, we separated. That sentence is as short as I can make it. It's also as long as it needs to be here. We did not blow up. We did not slam doors. We sat at our kitchen table and wrote out 2 columns, life together, life apart. Together had more items, but apart had 1 line that said, my nervous system can rest, and that line won. He found a 1-bedroom off Whittier, walking distance to Schiller. He sees Micah Wednesdays and Saturdays. He has June 2 nights a week and every other weekend during the day because nursing shifts are not cute. I put a key under his mat and then I took it back because boundaries are not metaphors. I am not proud that I couldn't stay. I am not ashamed either. People will think what they need to. I thought I was one kind of woman. Turns out I'm another. Turns out both are fine. I can hold Micah's hand at the playground and still not build a marriage with his father. I can love June like oxygen and still not model for her a marriage that makes me smaller. Ethan is not mad. He's sad. He said, crying, I wanted to fix it. I said, also crying, I know. Me too. Tasha came over with a casserole and didn't compliment my hair, which is how you know she knew I needed actual help. She told me I wasn't breaking a family. I was keeping myself intact so I could be one. Angela sent a text that said, you're still safest adults for both kids. That doesn't change. Small Ohio sentence, went to Dirty Frank's for a hot dog I didn't need and ate it standing in the parking lot in the sun. It felt like a small sin I could afford. Update 8. 18 months later, time moved forward the way it always does, rude and relentless and sometimes kind. June turned 1 and then almost 2. She loves buses, cheese, and saying hi to trees. Micah lost his first tooth and insisted the tooth fairy be informed properly. Ethan wrote a note with glitter pen. I rolled my eyes and then saved the note anyway. Danielle is stable. I don't know how to say that in a way that will keep it from breaking if you stare at it too long. She's an outpatient. She got a part-time job. She makes most of Micah's Thursday dinners. He told me on FaceTime that her spaghetti is better than mine, and I told him to never say that to me in person if he wants dessert. He giggled. Tasha lets Ethan and me know when to step back and when to lean in. She's the metronome now. I trust her. I went on a date. It was like learning to use my left hand to write a story I already knew. He was a social worker who loves soccer and hates cilantro. We had coffee and laughed, and then I cried in my car because grief burps when you don't expect it. We went out again. I told him there is a lot, and he said okay and meant it. June liked him. Moose liked him more. People ask if I regret inviting a caseworker to a baby shower. I don't. That day taught me something I don't think I would have learned any other way. Shame can't stand sunlight. That was the last day I let anyone else put me in the shade. Small USA local sentence. Sat on a bench by the Scioto Mile, watched runners and dogs and a guy on a unicycle, and realized I hadn't thought about the phone call in 20 minutes. Then I did, and it didn't take my breath. Final note for the internet strangers who are always kinder and meaner than you expect. You can love a child that isn't biologically yours and still not stay with their parent. You can leave someone who made a coward choice and still not call them a villain. When you tell the story to your kid later, you can be a grown-up and a mess in the same week. You can refuse to be a secret keeper and still be gentle with the people who kept the secret. You can bake cupcakes and hold a file with sticky notes and decide that your life will be one where the truth fits out loud. If you're standing in your kitchen with frosting on your hand and a caseworker on your phone, I am so sorry. Sit down, breathe, name the people who love you. Ask the right ones to bring chairs. Ask the wrong ones to bring silence. Put the cupcakes out. And when you say the sentence you don't want to say, keep your eyes on the person you want to be in 5 years, not the one who is afraid right now. She's depending on you. The kids are too. Small acts count. Show up. Tell the truth. Eat something. Wash your face. Take the dog for a walk on Parsons while the sun goes down behind the lows. You are not alone. You will never be alone again. That's the whole point. That and the way a 5-year-old's hand feels in yours when you're crossing Town Street together and he says, wait for me, and you say, I am,